In this video, I want to dive into details of a real-time trade that Emmet put on last week. He bet almost $3 million on a short-term option play.
You just know there's, 100 and something million shares that have to be bought by the index funds. They have marching orders, especially. So it's just like, okay, you have to buy 120 million shares or whatever the number is by this date. You have no choice. You have to do it, right? And that's a lot of shares of Tesla, right? And that's like, I think 50 or 60 billion dollars worth of Tesla. And I just don't think the liquidity is available. There's so many super bulls like me and you, and even institutional shareholders like Ron Barron. We're not selling. ARK Investments, they're not selling a major piece of their position. We're holding till trillions of dollars of market cap, or until all the best products are being released and robo-taxis and all that. So to me, it just seems like the opportunity for the stock to rise very, very significantly is there. I thought about, okay, if this thing's around $7 a contract, then the math I did was, okay, if the price goes to, $800 or $900, then that's like a, 10, 20, that's like a 20 plus return on my trade, 20x return. And if I think it's a 20 or 25% chance of happening, then that's like a very irresponsible of me not to take that trade with some portion of my assets. There's just so much demand for Tesla stock and so little supply that I just don't, I see a real squeeze here to risk 5 or 10% of my assets on this trade. This is my style. This is how I do things, right? So this is as good of an opportunity as any. And instead of taking 1 or 2 years to play out like leaps do, this takes 1 or 2 months to play out. I was trading around 450 or 460 that morning. And the option was gonna open around $7 or $8, I thought, and per contract. And so my account is with Interactive Brokers. They helped manage the trade and filled it and gave me call backs every 15 minutes for the 45 minutes or so it took for them to fill the whole order. Yeah, I got filled between like $5.50 and $7.85 in that range in the first 45 minutes of trading, I'd say.
You had what, 3,750 contracts, all of the January 15, 2021 700 strike calls, right?
That's right.
And the total, it seemed to work out to about around $2.7 million. Why didn't you spread out your strike prices? I
thought about doing that. That's a good question. And I asked the trader, he's like, if you had started putting fills in for, hundreds of contracts at different strikes, then, the market makers on the other side get wind of that and they start raising implied volatility quickly because they think there's a really big buyer. So just doing the one strike is the way to do it. If it starts running up really fast, like faster than I anticipate, and it gets to like, a 10x plus return in a few weeks, then I might pull like a quarter of it just to keep my money, make my money back of what I invested plus some profits, and let this other 75% ride. In my mind, this is a trade for 20x plus, and so I'm kind of waiting. The good stuff hasn't even happened yet. I might have bought more. I had more.
Really?
I didn't buy as many as I really wanted to. I was tempted to buy, like the night when I went to sleep, I was going to buy 5,000 and I only bought 3,000. So I was like, man, if this price, I thought about it and I was like, if the price goes down a lot more the next few days, like before December, I'm going to buy like another maybe 1 or 2,000, like really cheap and see.
Got it. Some person might say, hey, just, stop while you're ahead. What motivates you to continue to take big risks?
I've always been so interested in the future and what the future holds, with technology in particular. I've kind of been able to merge that fascination with investing, and it's paid good dividends this last, 10 years or so. I have this kind of skill set that seems to be doing well right now. That's where I have that hedge fund, and if this continues to go well, I'll get potentially some big investors into that fund and have half the fees go to charity. Since capitalism is sort of, I see that it's sort of at risk with the younger generations, but maybe this can help change that perception potentially.
Mm-hmm.